there's an obvious connection between the Kearney High coaching staff and the Lincoln East coaching staff, and it all trends back to our time together at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. I coached there as assistant from 2001 to 2012. I was fortunate enough to coach Drew and Jeff and Keenan, and even Coach Bousert was in there for a time. And so from my perspective, I watched those guys grow as individuals and wrestlers when I was able to coach them, but more importantly, watched everybody transition into the world of coaching and giving back to all the people in these programs that are flourishing right now.
The Kearney High duel versus Lincoln East duel started 3 years ago when we knew that we were going to have the two best teams in the state. And I just thought of what a better way to promote the sport of wrestling than to get the two best teams together and really make it kind of a marquee highlight duel. And so I contacted Coach Swarm, and Coach Swarm was really all about it from the very get-go. I think, he's somebody that really wants to promote the sport of wrestling just as much as we do. And we think of the big picture things and what it can do for just growing interest within our communities, the Lincoln East community and the Kearney High community.
I think whenever you put on an event, I think it's super important that you take ownership in your event and you make it more than just the wrestling, because true wrestling fans love wrestling, but to get that general student or that general person from your community involved and following the sport, you have to do something maybe outside just the idea of we're going to wrestle a duel. And that's what I think Lincoln East has done a nice job of, and we've always believed that here at Kearney High School, that you have to do something different. That's where we came up with the idea of the rowdy singlets, and our students wearing singlets on a certain night when we bring in a team for a duel, doing side-by-side duels with the college, or as of recently the stage duel, and just putting on a promoted event and making it a large thing for everybody to see and view, and then showcasing all the hard work that the wrestlers put in.
Whenever we compete with Kearney High, it makes me think of the pure contest of wrestling, and what I mean by that is when we wrestle and compete against Kearney High, it always seems to be a genuine respect between us and them, and our opponents are, instead of looked at as someone that we want to beat and rub in their face, we're looking to better each other. We're looking to just raise excellence in each other. And I think that's the purest form of competition, is that there's not always just a winner and there's a loser. I think the reality is on the scoreboard, that's true, right? One person wins, one person loses. But athletics at the purest form is that lessons can be learned and people can become better from that experience. Whenever we compete against Kearney High, it feels like that, whether win or lose, that we're both looking for the same thing, and that's to get better as a human being, to get better through the sport of wrestling, and I believe that we do that very well. And so that's something that I want to try to do when we're doing other teams as well, is that we're not competing out of anger, we're not competing out of jealousy, we're not competing out of pride, but we're truly just looking to compete to get better. And no matter what happens, whether we win or lose, it ends with a handshake with Coach Swarm and his coaching staff, and just that mutual respect that they brought it, we brought it, and that we're both going to get better from that experience. When they beat us in 2018, it really felt, there was sadness that I felt for my team that we weren't able to win, but at the same point in time, it was this weird feeling of like being super proud and excited for Coach Swarm, because I know how hard he worked, and how hard his kids trained, and how much they deserved to win that state championship. So through this defeat and this loss for my team, I also experienced this great feeling of joy for Coach Swarm and Kearney High. And so I believe that that's the purest form of competition, and that if we can compete like that, with that mind frame, that we're going to give our best effort and try to excel no matter who we're competing against, and we compete for the love of the sport rather than all those other things, that we're going to be happy about how we compete and perform. And so I'm looking forward, and that's why I always like wrestling Kearney High, is because that feeling is very apparent, very obvious every time we step on the mat with Kearney.
I'm excited to see our guys just perform in a spotlight situation. That's part of the reason we also put this duel on, is it puts our guys into a situation where there's lots of craziness going on. It adds a little bit of pressure, people, tons of eyes are on them. It kind of gives a little bit of a state semifinals type of feel, state finals type of feel. It's just a crazy atmosphere to wrestle in, and we think that's a good thing for the kids because it helps them get used to it, helps them try to think about what we always preach, which is focus on the wrestling. And so I'm just excited to see how our kids perform in that kind of intense, somewhat, call it scary environment a little bit, or high pressure environment. Yeah, it should be a good time.
Right now, I am currently adding up all the team scores from the Badger duels. Coach Etherton needs them for the vlogs. And he messed up and forgot that we had a third round bye. So I had to go and redo the last 3 duels we had after I had already added up 2 of them. It'd be nice if our coaches were able to do basic math.
We are here at Beauty and the Beast. This is an event that we're putting on in the auditorium here on the stage at Lincoln East High School. The only home duel that we'll host all year long, so we really wanted to hype it up. We're going to recognize our seniors tonight and our alumni as well. Just an event that we want to put wrestling in the spotlight. We want people to care about the sport of wrestling. And so we're going to try to do that in the best way possible in a fan-friendly event where, you got great competitors and you got exciting things going on. We've got Martin the Spartan here. We've got our cheerleaders will be performing at the halftime of the duel. I'm looking forward to putting on this production, and hopefully, the community of Lincoln and the wrestling community appreciate it. And it just grows the sport and moves it forward, and also just gives one heck of an experience for all of these wrestlers to be out here and to be able to compete on the stages is something that's pretty unique to the sport of wrestling. So I'm looking forward to continue this tradition of competing on the stage.
Have you ever lost one?
job. Listen, exciting night. We've got some guys that worked hard and didn't get wins tonight, right? And they're upset, and we've got some guys that had great performances. This is all I'm gonna say. Not too high, not too low, right? That was exciting, Brandon, but guess what? You're gonna have a really motivated Kearney kid wrestling again at conference, okay? So not too high, not too low. If you're one of those guys that's low, right? You go back to work, okay? You take what we did out there, you assess it, you evaluate it, and we need to get better in the room, okay? We've got a big weekend ahead of us, wrestling some of the very, very best teams. Guys, if you think that like Class A is the best and we're gonna walk through this tournament, they're gonna let you know otherwise, okay? These guys are gonna, it's a little bit of a different style and it's a little grittier, and that's why we go to these things, is we wanna wrestle the best no matter what class you're in and get different looks. And we gotta be ready to go tomorrow, okay? Not too high, not too low. Let's get back to work. Great job. Good job, Spartans.
Everybody stays until after cleanup. Everybody stays until after cleanup.
Hey, make sure you tell people that are here, thanks for coming, okay? That's important, that you appreciate what they do for you as well, okay? Social gratitude.
Will be.
Spartans on 3. 1, 2, 3. Spartans! Here at the Norm Manstedt Invite, day 1. Looking forward to an awesome competition. We've never been to this tournament before. Wrapped up a great duel last night on the auditorium stage versus Kearney High. The guys wrestled well. We won a few key sweep matches, and it was just a really exciting night. We've got 2 guys not competing that competed last night. Keith Smith kind of banged up his back a little bit, and Eddie Lankus still recovering from an elbow injury. We decided to hold him out here of this tournament, but what's great about this tournament is a lot of teams that we don't normally see. The only team here that we'll consistently see probably is Columbus and Creighton Prep. Columbus has got an awesome team, so we'll be competing with them throughout the entire tournament for the team race. But yeah, looking forward to an awesome competition. We've got the number 1 ranked team in Class C, several top teams from C, B, and D. I think probably the premier weight class is 170, where there's the number 1 ranked guy, Grant Lyman, in Class A, number 1 guy in B, C, and D, and then some others number 2. So it's going to be high level competition. We're looking forward to a great day today and a great day tomorrow.
Good job.
Edward Lankis coming in, 182. Unfortunately, my elbow is injured, so I'm going to be filling in for McCurdy, who sucks at interviews. Today, early morning, day 2, before we wrestle. Yesterday was day 1, obviously. We did well as a team. Shout out to Swift. He beat the #1 Class D guy, undefeated. And then Turman beat the #1 Class B guy. Great matches. Max behind me just did Max. I mean, he could have wrestled a little better. Oh well. Today we're looking good. We're well rested. We got to sleep in a hotel. We had a nice potluck yesterday. Played some what was it? Exploding Kittens. Just good overall time. All right, looks like they're clearing the mats. We're a few team points behind Columbus, so hopefully we can close that gap today and take the dub.
Ask me to feed it in your right hip super well on this area. I don't know what you're doing differently, but you'll see. All the way around the
wrestling extremely well. We have 9 going for first place in the finals, in the championship finals. Got a couple other guys wrestling for 3rd and 5th. And so we've had a couple of really good upsets today. 120, we were losing, put the kid on his back to get the go-ahead, and then actually got the pin. 152, Chase Kammerer beat a guy that was seated ahead of him to make the finals. So things are going really well, but we're gonna have to finish the tournament strong to win the team championship. We are in first place right now. However, I believe Columbus is coming close to us on our heels, so we're gonna have to finish strong to win it.
good, proud Colorado wrestlers. Time to hit the road.
Now he's gonna like
You're representing East in a bad way.
You guys wrestle very hard. No. Wrestle very hard at all.
Why did you sound just like him?
Keep it up. You know, had some tough wins, tough losses.
Like a good fight.
You know, say it. We won first place. You know, taking it home. Back on the road. Here we go.
Should we just break it down on that? That was pretty good.
Spartans on 3. 1, 2, 3, Spartans!
So we are here in the Rutledge's boys' room. I've got Clifford in the background, and I've got some bunk beds over here this side. Fit 3 kids in here, if you believe it. Got a nice little bunk bed and some trundle. So ideal place to do an interview because the kids are watching TV right now and they're owning the living room. So we're here in the bedroom.